With the J.K. Dobbins news coming out, it feels like minicamp is kind of getting lost in the sauce for the Denver Broncos, but Denver did hold their first practice of mandatory minicamp today, and the media was out there, so we've got some reports to talk about. The media will be out there tomorrow and the next day as well, so keep an eye out for these videos here on Broncos Syndicate. But bringing in this first tweet here from Benjamin Albright, some initial observations from Broncos mandatory minicamp. It was not Bo Nix's greatest throwing day, but here's why that's not an issue for the Broncos. We should be past the point here in Denver where we're scrutinizing OTAs and minicamp and picking apart performances from a quarterback. Bo Nix has proven that he will bounce back from a bad practice. He does it every single time. He had a couple of bad practices in training camp last year and immediately bounced back the next day. His bad games that he had last year, you think about the Colts game, immediately he bounced back and had a much better performance the following week. So Bo Nix is somebody that I'm very confident in his resilience. And additionally, hearing these reports about a quarterback having a bad day at OTAs or minicamp, it's not really a bad thing because they're testing the limits. They're changing their arm trajectories, changing their throwing motions, changing their footwork, so on and so forth, and learning if they can get away with some of this stuff in an actual game setting. This is the time of year where you're supposed to throw interceptions. I know it's kind of counterintuitive, but I'd much rather Bo Nix have these plays now and see what he can do in game situations rather than figure that stuff out in actual game situations. That's the beauty of not having a quarterback competition and Bo Nix being the established guy, is he can sort of take these chances and be a little bit more risky in practice to figure out what he can get away with in an actual game situation. Devon Vele was not out there today. Sean Payton addressed that in his post-practice presser, saying that attendance has been near perfect for the Broncos, even throughout the voluntary stuff, and Vele had some sort of prearranged obligation, so nothing to be concerned about. Does not seem to be an injury situation with him at all. Jaleel McLaughlin showed off in the short, quick areas of the field today, and Jaleel McLaughlin is somebody that, even with the J.K. Dobbins signing, brings a skill set that nobody else on this roster has outside of Blake Watson, and it is noteworthy that Watson was not out there today. The Broncos did need to clear a roster spot for J.K. Dobbins, so maybe Blake Watson was the fall guy. I'm not confirming that. I don't know that. I'm just speculating there. But Watson was not out there today, so that is something to keep an eye on. We should get a further report on that situation in due time. But I do feel like Jaleel McLaughlin brings that quick burst, that short area burst that nobody else on this roster from the running back position has. I think J.K. Dobbins is going to come in and be a third down pass protection running back. And if anything, the Dobbins signing puts Audric Estime on notice because Dobbins was a much better between the tackles runner than Estime was last year, and he didn't have Estime's fumbling issues. So if there's a guy that I feel like Dobbins puts on notice, it's more so Audric Estime than it is Jaleel McLaughlin. But that's just kind of my thoughts on the situation. Interesting day from Courtney Jackson. Mishandled one that turned into an interception. We'll talk a little bit more about that in a second, but he came back with a difficult catch. So really cool to see the resilience there from Jackson. He's an interesting player to me. He's got legit 4.3 speed. I think his best path to making this roster is going to be as a return specialist, but if he can maybe become a gadget guy on offense, or even better, make some of these contested catches, he's got some of that next level speed that even guys like Marvin Mims and Troy Franklin don't have. We think of Mims and Franklin as the speed guys on this roster. I think Courtney Jackson has even quicker speed than those guys, especially in terms of like acceleration. But we'll see what happens with Jackson. Can he find a niche role on this team? It's going to be really interesting because he's got the physical talent, that's for sure. Now bringing in some more observations here from Ryan Edwards. Nice close to practice for the first team offense in the red zone, with touchdown passes to Pat Bryant and Lucas Kroll. Bryant remains a very smooth route runner. Really fantastic to see. I think that Pat Bryant is going to carve himself out a really nice role on this offense in year one. Lavelle Bailey with a nice interception in the end zone off of Jarrett Stidham to close practice. Q Robinson might have had 5 pressures today, and that's after having at least 2 last week. So really huge stuff for Q Robinson. I initially thought that he was going to come in and mostly play special teams in year one, and that's still probably going to be in the case. In fact, he's such a good special teams player that Nick Saban called him one of the best that he's ever coached. That's high praise coming from a guy like Nick effing Saban. So I'm definitely going to still assume that Q Robinson is going to play special teams, but if he can get himself in on the defensive rotation, that might be huge because he does have some really nice athleticism, good burst, good twitch off the line of scrimmage. So keep an eye on Q Robinson as we go throughout the rest of minicamp and throughout training camp as well to see if he can carve himself out an opportunity on the defensive side of the ball. Jaquan McMillan got an opportunistic pick 6 off of Bo. That was the one that went off of Courtney Jackson's hands. So not Bo Nix's fault there. It seems like it was just a good play by McMillan and not a great play by Courtney Jackson. But still, overall, with Bo Nix not having the best day out there, again, I'm just not concerned about that overall. And Ryan Edwards shares the same sentiment as I do about Jaleel McLaughlin. Not being bad news, the fact that J.K. Dobbins coming in. I think that Jaleel, again, brings a certain skill set that the rest of the backs on this roster just don't bring. So, yeah, man, really good stuff coming out of minicamp here. And again, the media will be out there for the following 2 days of practice as well. And we should get an opportunity tomorrow to see our first look at J.K. Dobbins in a Denver Broncos practice uniform. We do have some video highlights as well of today. I'll go ahead and put that together as soon as I get this video out. In the meantime, guys, please be sure to leave a like on this video as well as subscribe and ring the bell so these videos appear in your notification feed. It really, really does help us out, guys. I don't just say that. I really mean it. It helps tell YouTube's algorithm to push us out. It tells them to push us out to more and more members of Broncos country just like you and me. So I would really appreciate it if you guys could give a like as well as subscribe if you have yet to do so. All right, guys, and until next time, I'm your host, Gage Madrid, saying peace out.